Hey, it's Mark. Up the road behind me from here is a Home Depot. It's filled with thousands, probably tens of thousands of items, each of which is a commodity. What you do, medical services, there is no way that that's a commodity, despite what you've been told, despite what you tell yourself. When you're shopping for a commodity, the hammer at Home Depot, you go there, you see a few different kinds of hammers, and if you're a compulsive shopper, I don't mean that you're compelled to shop, that's sort of a compulsive shopper, but that you shop so exactly that you're looking for the best hammer at the best price, then I suppose you could go on to Amazon, shop for that same exact hammer. You could go to Lowe's. There's probably some site that specializes in hammers. You could check to see if hammers.com is available, to try to save 15 cents on that hammer. If it's worth it to do so, that's a different issue. But that's a true commodity. But have you ever heard somebody say, my cousin has a brain tumor, can you recommend a cheap brain surgeon? Can you recommend a cheap anesthesiologist? Can you recommend a cheap radiologist? In fact, the only ones who think cheap anesthesiologists are those who employ them, perhaps, especially hospitals. But in buying a service, there's generally a huge difference between someone who's expensive and someone who's cheap. Now, not always. Sometimes there's a cheap in experts' clothing. But assuming that there is at least some intelligence as to what the market is, as to what other experts are charging, there's a marked difference in value, or there should be, but for the mistake of Medicare, another issue, in the value delivered by someone who is truly an expert at a service versus someone who's terrible at the service, or is merely a journeyman, or worse, an apprentice who's just done enough years. So we can think about that a couple ways. Number one, we could think about that in terms of how you are buying services from other professionals. Are you looking to find the cheapest alternative? But if you realize that the most expensive advice is bad advice. Number two, you could look at this in terms of what you're providing. Are you selling your services both to patients, to referral sources, to facilities, as being the same as what everyone else is delivering? Every other exologist is delivering. Every other facility of your sort is delivering. If so, then there is truly nothing that would distinguish you from your competitors. If that's the case, then why do business? You're not a commodity. Many of the things that you buy aren't commodities. Stop treating them that way. Stop treating yourself that way. Recognize value. Recognize that you measure value when you're a buyer, and recognize that someone else measures value when they're a buyer. So provide them with more value. Provide them with what distinguishes your value from another's, and then reap the profit.